Now at 10 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, the mother of a convicted sex offender helps him escape from prison. Now they're both in custody. And the race for mayor has attracted 6 candidates, and there's still time to register to vote. And if you see those red kettles, consider stopping and dropping in some donations.
We had a pretty good day today, lots of sun, but now high-level clouds are rolling in. Will they obscure the sunshine for tomorrow? We'll talk about that and take a look at the Christmas weekend. All that coming up in a moment.
And the Dallas Cowboys clinched a playoff spot before their game kicked off. But as for the game, we will have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now after Monday Night Football. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Karina Garcia. Don Brubaker has the night off. 4 former Industrial ISD students will face a court hearing for an incident that occurred back in April. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick has followed the legal proceedings since July. Adarius, what's next for the case in Jackson County?
Well, Karina, they will face a court hearing December 19th at Jackson County Courthouse. This hearing will be the second time the 4 appear in court since their first hearing was reset. Christopher McRory, Cullen Stumfall, Braxton Warren, and Zach Kukler will stand before a judge on December 19th. The 4 teenagers were arrested and charged with engaging in organized crime assault. One student was allegedly assaulted by these 4 on a bus coming from an away game in April. According to Industrial ISD, coaches immediately discussed this incident with administration. However, the victim's family was very unhappy with the district's response.
There has been zero accountability, not from a coach, not from an administrator, and I think the $64,000 question is, who ultimately decided on the punishment?
We spoke with the victim's civil attorney, Susan Soto, months ago. Susan said the family wants answers from the district.
My clients have chosen to pursue all 3 of those avenues regarding the adults involved in and aware of the incident in April.
The defense attorney, Brent Dornberg, said the incident was just a little horseplay. Both attorneys did not share how the student was assaulted or what exactly happened on the bus. Now we'll be at the Jackson County Courthouse to see what comes from the court hearing. We plan to keep you updated on how everything turns out. Karina, back to you.
Adarius, thank you. The long arm of the law caught up with Robert Yancey Jr. He was on the run for less than 17 hours. He escaped from the Clemens unit in Brazoria. The 39-year-old is serving a life sentence without parole for sexually abusing a child in Victoria County. He now faces felony escape charges. He was found in Matagorda County this morning just after 8 o'clock. Matagorda County is about 45 miles southwest of Brazoria County. The Clemens unit in Brazoria County is about 60 miles south of Houston. Now, authorities also arrested Yancey's mother, Lenore Prestil. She's accused of helping him escape. Victoria police tracked down a white Nissan Versa used in this escape. It was spotted in Victoria around 6:09 p.m. Sunday. Victoria is 110 miles west of Brazoria County. Now, she was picked up on an outstanding warrant connected to Yancey's escape. And finally, Russell Williams is charged with helping Yancey escape as well. He's charged with criminal intent to escape and is currently held at the Victoria County Jail without bond. The deadline to register to vote in the upcoming mayoral special election is Thursday, January 4th. 6 people are trying to fill that seat. That includes Peter Brown, Bob Constantine, Dwayne Crocker, Jacob Salceda, Josephine Solis, and Carissa Winters. They will all be on the ballot. Election day is scheduled for Saturday, February 3rd. $1,071,117. That's how much money the Defense Department tells Congress is left in U.S. funding to help Ukraine fight against Russia. After that, the White House says money is gone until lawmakers can fully act. But action is stalled as Republicans push for action first on the U.S. southern border.
On Monday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott made it a state crime to enter Texas illegally, giving local law enforcement federal-like immigration power.
Senate Bill 3 for more border wall construction is now law in the state of Texas.
Abbott, surrounded by supporters, arrived to Brownsville, Texas to protesters who fear the law will lead to racial profiling.
We need to respond with a heart and with a better system.
The system is strained. U.S. Border Patrol Chief Jason Owens tells CNN border authorities apprehended about 192,000 migrants between ports of entry last month. Tucson Sector Chief Patrol Agent says more than 37,000 migrants were stopped there in the first 2 weeks of December.
Our border has been erased. We have no border any longer.
While Republican presidential candidates blame President Biden for record high migrant apprehensions, White House and Senate negotiators are trying to work out a border deal. Without that, aid to Ukraine, Israel, and more is stalled. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says there's progress, but it will take time.
We cannot afford to get this wrong.
Monday, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, which says it had seen a surge in migrants moving by train, temporarily halted railway operations at international crossing bridges in Eagle Pass and El Paso. The Association of American Railroads called for a policy reversal, saying in a statement, every day the border remains closed unleashes a cascade of delay on both sides of the border. Like so much on the border, multiple sides and no easy middle. I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
And protesters gathered in South Texas today as Governor Greg Abbott signed that immigration bill into the legislation. It would make it a state crime if a person illegally crosses the Mexican border into Texas. If people are caught, they could end up in jail or be returned to Mexico. While some have praised the bill, saying it provides Texas another way to protect its southern border, others are criticizing it. They say Texas cannot create immigration policy. Only the federal government can do so. Critics also say the bill could lead to racial profiling. This law is set to take effect in March. And now let's shift gears and take a look at the weather with Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis. Mac, we got a pretty chilly night ahead of us tonight.
Yeah, the night is cold, but the day was warm. We got up into the 70s today. But for the next couple of days, we're going to be watching the West Coast because that's where our next storm comes in. Here it is. It's going to be rolling through Los Angeles and coming down Interstate 10. Should be here by the weekend. Did I say the weekend, which is Christmas weekend? Yes, that's why I think it's going to be raining for the weekend. And we'll talk more about it and take a look at your entire 7-day forecast coming up in just a minute. Karina, back to you.
Mac, thank you. And speaking of the weather, a major storm system impacting hundreds of flights across the country as the busy holiday travel season begins.
As millions of Americans hit the skies ahead of the holidays, a major storm system barreling through the East Coast. Hundreds of flights canceled Monday, airports in New York and Boston seeing some of the biggest impacts. And on Sunday, more than 5,000 flights delayed. Transportation officials urging travelers to brace for the busy travel period.
If you're traveling in and out of Logan Airport or any other airports, we expect them to be busy. The theme of the next couple of weeks, have a lot of patience, leave a lot of extra time, and plan ahead.
It comes as Southwest Airlines gets hit with a $140 million penalty from the Department of Transportation for the airline's massive meltdown during the holidays last year. The DOT also requiring the airline to establish a $90 million compensation system for passengers affected by significant delays and cancellations, including a $75 flight credit to any passenger whose flight gets delayed more than 3 hours when it's the airline's fault.
What we're doing here is sending a message to the entire airline industry. You need to take care of your passengers, and if you don't, there will be consequences.
Last year, nearly 17,000 flights canceled and 2 million passengers stranded. Since then, Southwest has paid out more than $600 million in refunds and reimbursements to travelers, but the DOT finding the airline failed to provide adequate customer service assistance, flight status notifications, and prompt refunds.
This will be industry leading. Through this enforcement action, Southwest customers will be able to see that benefit next year.
Federal officials say they're hoping to make the requirement universal so that more airlines will have to follow suit, but they acknowledge that that will be a lengthy process. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
A small plane made an emergency landing on a North Texas highway this afternoon. The twin-engine Piper aircraft came down at about 2:45 p.m. on U.S. Highway 80, which is about 20 miles east of Dallas. The plane came into rest in the grassy median. Forney police there said the pilot was unharmed and there was no injuries on the ground. It's not yet clear what forced the pilot to make this emergency landing, though slow traffic was getting by in both directions, with backup stretching back for about a mile. The 33rd annual holiday dinner by H-E-B, called the Feast of Sharing, is this Wednesday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Victoria Community Center. That's at 2805 East North Street. A free shuttle will take people from Faith Family Church at 2002 East Mockingbird Lane to the Community Center. Those rides start at 3 p.m. and the Feast of Sharing started back in 1989 and served about 340,000 meals in 34 Texas cities. So here's your beer poll tonight. You can scan that QR code on your screen to vote. The question is, are you participating in this year's Feast of Sharing? Yes, no, or volunteering? According to our results tonight, it looks like 8% say yes, 88% stand at no, and 4% are volunteering. We want to keep on hearing from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. The Salvation Army of Victoria is falling behind its goal for those red kettles, and they need your help. The goal is to raise $100,000. Right now, they are in need of $35,000 more to reach this goal. You can find the red kettles outside through the stores all the way through Christmas Eve. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, she was supposed to be an expert on being a mom, but tonight she's in trouble with the law. Also ahead, some fourth graders in Port Lavaca are in the Christmas spirit. We have this story and more straight ahead.
My favorite holiday song is Jingle Bell, Jingle Bell.
1, 2, 3. Feliz Navidad. Ba, 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 ba. Santa baby, come put a sable under the tree for me.
Oh yeah, last Christmas I gave you my heart.
And so I was singing, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Masters in this hall.
Masters in this hall, hear me today. Something, something, something.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Silent Night, honestly. That's a classic. Silent Night.
Always cry.
Holy night. That's too good.
Because my favorite Christmas song is the one where it's like, chestnuts roasting by an open fire. But the one with Justin Bieber.
From all of us here at 25 News Now,
Happy holidays.
Officers. The casket will be in the court's Great Hall all day, allowing the public a chance to offer their condolences. Members of O'Connor's family and all 9 current justices were among the initial mourners this morning to honor the life of the first woman to hold a seat on the United States Supreme Court. And a major shift in the Vatican. Pope Francis formally permitted Roman Catholic priests to bless same-sex couples on Monday. The blessings may be carried out as long as they are not part of regular church rituals. They must also not take place at the same time as a civil union. Now, a guilty plea on 4 counts today from Ruby Franke, the former YouTube parenting expert charged with child abuse. Here's more.
Today, YouTube parenting influencer Ruby Franke walking into a Utah courtroom, looking straight over at her family in the front row. The former momfluencer then pleading guilty to 4 counts of felony child abuse, expressing regret while stating her plea.
With my deepest regret and sorrow for my family and my children, guilty.
The state dismissed 2 other counts of child abuse. Franke had more than 2 million followers on her now deleted YouTube channel, documenting the lives of her 6 children and how she disciplined them.
I'm not even going to let you eat breakfast until you get your chores done.
But it all unraveled after her 12-year-old son escaped from Franke's former business partner, Jody Hildebrandt's home. A neighbor immediately calling police.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty.
Franke now seems to be pointing the finger at Hildebrandt, her attorney saying in a statement that Hildebrandt isolated Franke from her family, and this prolonged isolation resulted in Miss Franke being subjected to a distorted sense of morality shaped by Miss Hildebrandt's influence. Hildebrandt faces 6 counts of child abuse charges herself. Franke agreeing to testify against her. Her own niece saying to our Juju Chang,
all of these theories and these modalities and these parenting ideas, that all comes from Jody.
In a statement exclusive to ABC News, Ruby's attorneys say Ruby Franke wants to take responsibility for the harm she has caused to her children and to her entire family. She knows that by pleading guilty and accepting the punishment, she is taking a step in the right direction to be accountable for her actions. We did reach out to Hildebrandt's attorneys. They have not responded to our requests for comment. As for Franke's husband, he has filed for divorce. Ruby's attorney says she is devastated, but says she respects his decisions. Franke will be sentenced in February. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Border agents in Southern California intercepted a tractor trailer carrying thousands of pounds of drugs last week. The shipments were declared as jalapeno paste, which the truck was actually carrying, but a K-9 unit in San Diego flagged something else. Officers found more than 3,000 pounds of methamphetamine and more than 500 pounds of cocaine. The street value is estimated at $10.4 million, and the 28-year-old driver was detained. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is alerting consumers to a massive chicken recall. Simmons Prepared Foods Incorporated is recalling more than 26,000 pounds of TGI Fridays boneless chicken bites products. The products may be contaminated with pieces of clear, hard plastic. There have been no reports of injuries, but the chicken bite items were produced on October 3rd and were shipped to retail locations nationwide. The recall covers 15-ounce cartons of TGI Fridays boneless chicken bites honey barbecue chicken. Now, giving is just part of the Christmas spirit, and today a school in Port Lavaca gifted fully decorated Christmas trees. The 4th grade student council at HGM Elementary came up with the idea. The school leaders decided on the theme for each tree, and the students took it from there.
We've had generous community donors that donated these trees, and each grade level decorates a tree according to a theme that the student council has chosen, and then we donate them back into our school community.
This is the 7th year HJM Elementary has taken part in the tree donation program. In that time, they've donated around 50 fully decorated Christmas trees to area residents.
Well, good evening, everyone. We're already down to 46 degrees. It's getting chilly out there. Today, however, we managed to get up to 76. That was the abundant sunshine. You might not have noticed it, but we actually got a little bit of a north wind that's giving us a little bit of a cooling down, and it was rather chilly last night. Now, we're about supposed to be here at 67 because this is the week winter begins, but our temperature is going to be closer to 76 for the rest of the week. And we'll be talking about that because I still think we're going to get some rain on Christmas weekend. More on that coming up in just a moment. Well, good evening, everyone. Today we had these observed highs around the area. I had to turn the air conditioner on this afternoon on our way to work, and tonight I had to turn the heater on, so it's one way or the other. We did manage to get up to 76. Everybody was in the mid-70s. It's going to be slightly cooler in the next couple of days. We're picking up that northerly wind, which is that came in today. You probably didn't notice it, but there was a little bit of a wind shift, and therefore we're still going to be above the average temperature for this time of year, even though it's the last few days of fall and winter is going to be beginning. But we're watching the high-level cloud cover start rolling in from the west. Generally, high-level clouds, obviously, they're higher than the low clouds, don't produce much rain. The rain comes through the atmosphere and sort of evaporates before it hits the ground. So that's not the problem. The problem is here, and that low that's off the west coast is going to roll across the southwest and give us quite a bit of moisture and kind of a dreary looking kind of Christmas weekend. Now these are temperatures right now. Currently, all of your friends in the Midwest, well actually we'll follow the blue line here. All the way down here, they're below freezing, and you can see how much of the country is feeling a little bit like winter. Now for us, not tomorrow, we'll be about 70, 72. This is the big storm that brought them that snow over the last couple of days, but that's the one we're watching. So we go forward in time. This is Tuesday evening. You can see it dropping down on the west coast. The high pressure that brought us a really nice weather over the weekend is going to be sliding east. So then that's going to open up the tropical door. So on Thursday, Friday, it's going to be more of a light rain, drizzle, or mist, especially in the morning hours, because there's not a lot of lift in this. When that low starts moving in our direction, that's when we'll have enough lifting for a little bit heavier shower activity. But just remember, you can see how most of Texas is going to be under this, and this is the Christmas weekend. So I don't want to, make you worried about your travel, but a lot of people traveling for Christmas, it looks like it's going to be a little on the damp side. The front is not going to pass our area until about Monday, which is Christmas Day. This is in Iceland. Last month I was talking about the possibility of having a new volcano there. Well, it's not a volcano with a standard cone. This is basically a rip in the earth and the magma now flowing up. The little town that was over it probably won't be there very long. I mean, all this lava is going to start flowing out, obviously to sea level, but it's rather unusual to have a volcanic flow with probably about 10 miles long. So unusual, but it is considered a volcano. All right, what about our temperatures locally? Well, for Port Lavaca, 52 in the morning and up to 68 tomorrow afternoon. A little bit more cloud cover than today. In Cuero, we start off at 45, get up to 70, a little bit more cloud cover. But you'll notice we'll get that northeast wind, and that will keep us on the cooler side. So I'm going to call it relatively mild for Tuesday and Wednesday. Pretty good. If you haven't finished decorating, you better hurry. And then Thursday, light drizzle. Then shower activity Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I know you don't want to hear that. Monday's the front. That's when Santa comes. The kids will be inside probably, but playing with their toys and having a great time. That's the 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody, we've got a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Zach Brown talking about Cowboys, right?
Absolutely not. I'm talking about the Houston Texans, who are still primed for a playoff run despite all odds. I will have that in sports. So I am going to talk about the Cowboys a little bit. They officially clinched a playoff spot with the Falcons losing about 30 minutes before kickoff yesterday, but the Bills, fighting for their playoff spot, absolutely played like it. Buffalo just dominant in this one. It was a 31-10 win. Dallas did not score a touchdown until the fourth quarter. The Bills won the time of possession battle by almost 10 minutes, double the amount of first downs Dallas had, and this is while also holding the Cowboys to under 200 total yards on the day. One reason why the time of possession was owned by the Bills, they had 266 rushing yards in the game. Dallas falls to 10-4. Head coach Mike McCarthy concerned about his team's road woes.
We play so well at home, and there's just too big of a gap in our road games. Yeah, we're conscious of it. We'll, got a long flight home to continue to talk about it, think about it. Obviously, we got to move on to Miami in the morning. We'll get this one corrected.
They are in the most difficult stretch of their season, will be tested from here on out. But now to the Houston Texans, who had no C.J. Stroud, Tank Dell out for the year, no Nico Collins. That's just a few. They absolutely needed this game as they were fighting for their playoff lives, and they opted to start Houston Cougar legend Case Keenum, but disaster. Early in the second quarter, Keenum picked off a Tennessee pick six, had him up 13-0 in a game where you had to wonder if Houston would score 13 in the entire game. But you know who is healthy? Welcome back, Ka'imi Fairbairn. His third field goal of the game makes it a 4-point game. Houston trailing by a touchdown late in the fourth, but Keenum finds Noah Brown. We are tied, and we're going to overtime. And with 2 seconds remaining in that overtime period, Fairbairn, does he have a fourth field goal in him? You bet. And it was a clutch one. Houston stuns everyone with a shell of its roster, and they are tied for first place in the AFC South. And that will lead us to your viewer poll. Since the Titans made it a point to wear those Oilers throwback jerseys for the Texans game, what city should those Oilers jerseys belong to, Houston or Nashville? Looking at what a lot of you have said, 87% Houston, 13% Nashville. Now, the Titans technically own it, but like J.J. Watt says, since the Texans won, hey, go on and pass them on back to Houston. All right, now over to some hoops. Earlier this afternoon, the Victoria East Titans welcomed the Flower Bluff Hornets. The Titans fall 55-29 in the non-district showdown. They get right back at it tomorrow at El Campo. They already played the Rice Birds once when they fell 48-40. The St. Joseph Flyers hit the road to Vanderbilt to take on the Industrial Cobras. The Flyers came out with the win, 51-40. Bennett Ferguson had 17 points for St. Joe. Jack Ward followed him up with 13 points as well. Industrial is at Columbia tomorrow. The Flyers have now won 2 games in a row. Now, before I let you guys go, can't let you leave without me reminding you that I said the Texans would win the AFC South. 3-way tie with 3 games to go. Like Karina always says, Zach, you are always correct.
I just want to clarify, I've never once said that. But stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we're going to take a last look at your weather. Plus, one family in Kentucky receives a gentle surprise in their Christmas tree. Bank of the Golden Crescent was busy today distributing food to families in need. The food bank works with people to make the process as easy as possible, and today they held a drive-through pickup at the Victoria Community Center. With Christmas just a week away, demand is pretty great this year.
We brought for about 310 families. I say we're about 290 right now. Things are tough, but people are still coming through.
The food bank has drive-up food distributions once a month at the community center. And now, thanks to the annual Toys for Tots drive, many Crossroads children will have a very Merry Christmas. The toys were distributed at the Victoria Community Center, and families had to register ahead of time to receive these toys. The red bags are filled with toys, and organizers say this year was very busy.
Traffic has been good. This morning we had a line waiting out there for us, but we got them all taken care of as fast as we could. Then we get more people coming through, so it's staying steady right now. We're able to take care of everybody.
The Marine Corps Reserve Toys for Tots campaign helps thousands of children across the country every year.
and that's a gentle, good cause.
Always a good cause. I'm glad you're involved in it.
I was last Friday, I believe. Yeah, we got a lot of toys.
I thought you'd be driving the truck with all the toys.
Oh, that military truck? No, I'd probably crash that, honestly.
Oh, yeah, you should see her drive her, the little one.
Oh, my goodness.
It's going to be nice tomorrow and Wednesday, but a few more clouds. By Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I expect kind of a drizzly, rainy kind of pattern. So I think it's going to be wet for Christmas weekend. Not a huge washout, just kind of soggy. So let's just keep that in mind because the front doesn't get through here until Monday of next week.
Thank you, Mac. Now, a family in Lexington, Kentucky got quite the surprise when they found something living in their Christmas tree. It was an owl, and 4 days went by before anyone could spot the owl. And as you can see, someone gently removed the bird from the tree and released it into a wooded area nearby. Alrighty, well, that's all we have for today. Thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10. Don't forget to join the Sunrise crew.